All right, we're live. So Amber had a little sheet. So we are basically, Sarah, you had gone through my little sneak peek group, and we offer them every month for anyone who might be interested, just so we can kind of share what we do. And obviously, it's not complete in that there's so much more that we could tell you. So I started offering these little webinars afterwards, and then for anyone who couldn't do the sneak peek, just so we can like see each other's faces. There's just something about like saying, oh, we're live, like you can see everyone. So it's just really cool. But if you guys are ready, I'm going to get started. So Sarah, you know me from the group, but Chenille, I am homegrown East Texas, though. I grew up in Kilgore all my life, and yay, and Ebony. So Ebony and I went to grade school together, and all the way through, and we reconnected. Gosh, I guess it's almost like a year and a half ago. She is a Beachbody lifer, and she, of course, saw some of my crazy posts, and then I reached out to her and was like, whoa, wait a second. Like, you're already doing this coach thing. You need to join the team so that you can start helping other people. And so anyways, grew up in East Texas, have undergraduate in nursing, and then I was hellbound on getting my advanced practice degree, to which I am slowly coming away from. God shows us these other paths that you would have never even imagined. And so I have been obedient and said yes to coaching. And my plan is to change my entire career to coaching. I'm well on my way. And part of that is getting to share. So how did I get involved with Beachbody? Well, Sarah, so guys, just a little tidbit on her. She is a basketball player and played semi-pro, right? I learned this last night, which is amazing.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So she's an athlete, and that's kind of how I consider myself. I've always been an athlete, and so always wanted to be healthy and fit, and it's just part of kind of who I am. But after grad school, I had gained some weight and just like kind of fell apart, sort of. Didn't really know where I was, what was going on. Then it was a member of a gym, continued to go to the gym, but just wasn't seeing things that I wanted to see. And so I got involved with some girls at the gym who were like, okay, if we can go to the gym like 30 minutes earlier and let's do Insanity, and then let's do Turbo Kick. And I bet you we're going to lose some weight because we were like burning thousands of calories, right? We were these crazy girls who would go ahead of time and do the Insanity in the basketball court and then go to Turbo Kick and just craziness. But what I learned from that was like, it was that accountability of, okay, girls, we're going to show up 30 minutes ahead of time. They were waiting on me. I was waiting on them. And the power of that accountability changed everything for me, because that's what I was used to as an athlete, right? Like your team is waiting on you to show up. And so I just started like thinking, this is pretty powerful. Like I never thought that this is something you could do. So then I kind of dabbled with the hobbiness of the coaching, because I'm like, well, I already have a career. I've paid all this money to be a nurse practitioner, and I really liked it. And then I had children. And it's changed my world. And most of you ladies who do have children can speak to that as well. It's changed everything for me. And so working in the ER long hours, and then working those bonus shifts and extra shifts, and team lead this and all the craziness was obviously taking away time from my family. And so I just thought, why can't I supplement this income at least partially, so that I'm not having to be gone so much, but still using my education. But little did I know, coaching, like totally, I use everything that I've learned through school. I've used everything that I've learned through my life. Like coaching is not just about fitness. It's not just about nutrition. It's about this. It's about like sharing your heart, sharing your love for what you do with other people, and onboarding people like you, Sarah, and saying, I want to help you. Like it's a different type of help than what we do in healthcare. but it's a help that is like none other. It's crazy because you get to see these people change their heart, change their mind, change their body. Like it all happens in front of you, and you know you had a hand in it. And then there's this coaching thing, which is even more mind-blowing to me, because we get to help you like quit your job. We get to help you pay off your debt, pay off stuff, like live this crazy life that you probably never would think is possible, because I didn't think it was possible. And don't get me wrong, I'm not living luxuriously and I'm not living crazy, but I have cut down to working part-time as a nurse practitioner, which is pretty huge in my book. I'm able to pay more than a house payment. Like, there's definitely financial benefit, but above that, I get to be home with my kids most of the time. And for me, like, that's what this is about. It's to be able to have that freedom with time. And of course, financial is just an icing on the cake, but to be a present mom is huge to me. And whether you're a fur baby mom or you're a, mom like we are, whatever, an aunt, there's so many reasons why it's great to have your own, like, freedom of your own time, to be able to say, I'm not going to work that extra shift as a nurse because I don't have to. I'm going to go visit my family who lives out of state or whatever it may be. And I'm going to start paying off that debt, and I don't have to work extra to pay that debt off. So these are just little tiny perks that have changed my world. And so I cannot help but share it, because it's just crazy. We literally get healthy and fit, and we share it with other people, and then we get paid for it. So beyond that, there's so many other little tidbits. And of course, my team knows just body image struggles that I've had, and the love for the Lord that I have, and those little things that coaching has allowed me to share with others. These crazy things. So there's so much more of my story, but that's about it in a nutshell, so we can keep it brief. About me and how I got involved in Beachbody and how it's changing my life. So that's me. And I know I was going to let Amber kind of share a little bit about where she comes from, because this is also crazy to me too. When you hear where she's at and what she does, and that she's going to do this full time, it's just it's mind blowing to me.
So as my team knows, I am born and raised in Southwest Louisiana. I'm a Cajun girl, and I always wanted to be a veterinarian, and I think I forced that life on me. My husband does human medicine, so we're both in the healthcare world. We're both medical professionals, and I just kind of went above and beyond schooling. I never felt like I was good enough. So I always pushed myself to the limits, and I fell in love with emergency medicine so much that I even decided to go full force and do an emergency critical care residency. So we were up in Wisconsin at that time. We kind of globetrotted all over, and we ended up there, and we were like Beachbody, alumni, I guess. Like, my husband did P90X. I was doing Turbo Fire during my residency on my, one day off. I would do Turbo Fire workouts with Chalene Johnson. And like, I didn't know that there was a coaching opportunity. And at that point, I didn't really care. I was so focused on being the best critical care veterinarian that I could be. So it was kind of like God was giving me a plot twist, because all of a sudden we were born with twins. Listen to me. I was pregnant with twins. And the day I found out I was pregnant, I was like, okay, I can do this. I can still become a veterinarian that specializes in critical care. And then it was like, okay, there's two. I'm pregnant with twins. I can still do this. I can still do this. And then all of a sudden it was like, oh, they came prematurely. And it was at that point I felt like, and now I'm getting goosebumps, but I felt like God was like, you need to prioritize your life. My husband and I were just like working ourselves to the bone. We weren't really spending time together. I had forgotten all my hobbies and pastime experiences. I was just working all the time. And it was at that moment we decided to move closer to home. So we moved to Texas. And then we ended ended up going back to Louisiana and then back to Texas now. Can't get out of Texas. So I remember when our kids turned 1, it was the night before their birthday, and this is kind of where my journey really began with Beachbody. I remember going like to find outfits for all of us to wear because you're getting those professional photos before the birthday. And I remember I couldn't even fit into my pregnancy pants that I wore when I was pregnant with twins. I couldn't even fit in those pants. And I remember just sitting there looking at myself in the fluorescent lights of the dressing room, which is horrible, by the way. I don't know why they do that. And just realizing that I didn't know who I was. I didn't know that woman in the mirror. I had long, straggly hair that was like falling out in patches, which happens when you get pregnant and you have babies. Your hair falls out. Nobody tells you that. I had pasty skin. My hormones were all over the place, so I had like breakouts. I did not shave. I had puke on one side of my shirt and probably poop or something on the other side. And I just looked in the mirror and I was like, I am like a shell of the person I used to be. And I was like, I told my husband to get the next 4 sizes up because I didn't know what size I was at. Because before I was pregnant with twins, I was a size 4. And then with the twins, I went to like an 8 or a 10. And then I was at a size 16, which I'm 5'4" on a good day. So that's, that's hefty for me. I remember telling my husband that we're going to enjoy their birthday party the next day, but that night we're going to make changes. And he got me a challenge pack of PiYo and Shakeology, and it just kind of rocked my world. I wasn't in a challenge group or anything like that. I didn't even know what Beachbody coaching was, but I knew I loved the products, and I knew that I need to be on a better path for my kids. And so it kind of just led me down a road. Like God kept putting the right people at the right place at the right time. And it just ended up me meeting my coach, who's Melissa McAllister, and getting certified to teach PiYo. And I remember her telling me about Beachbody coaching and what it could offer. And I was like, if I can help one lady not cry in a dressing room, I would be on cloud 9. That's all I want. I just want to help one lady not to cry in a dressing room. Like that was my goal. And I remember my first month that I signed up, I had like 30 people in the group, and just hearing their success stories and the things that they were just sharing with me, like text messaging every day, like, hey, I'm weaning off my asthma medication, or hey, I lost 5 pounds, or hey, I'm finally like rocking this new swimsuit I got like 10 years ago. Like, one girl was like, I can do 10 pull-ups. And I'm like, I can't even do 1. Bravo. It was just those little successes that just really propelled me to want to do this. And so I was chief of staff at the emergency clinic that I was working at. And I was miserable. I was working overnights. I was working weekends. And I told my husband that something had to change. And he's like, well, you love coaching. It fuels your passion for helping others. He's like, if you can just stick with it and do your best and give it your all, then we can switch and you could be a full-time coach and a part-time ER doctor. And that's kind of where I am today. I work 4 shifts a month as an ER doctor. Now, granted, they're like 24-hour shifts. Maybe not 24, but with my commute, it's like almost 24 hours. And I'm home with my kids who need me because they need therapy daily. So that's why I do it. I'm sorry. That was kind of long, Chanel. I'm sorry.
No, that was perfect. Thank you so much, Amber. Okay, so what I was going to do is just briefly go through like the little high points of what coaching is about, and then give you, Sarah, the opportunity to ask questions. And then the other coaches that are on here, that are on our teams, they may have a question too. And so we're just going to open up the floor after each little section. But basically, I wanted to start with what this business is based on. What are the things that we've got to do every day to make this business work? And we call those the 3 vital behaviors. Myself and Amber have already mentioned how critical the products are for us. Now, I don't like to lead with that because it is absolutely 100%, I don't believe, a product-based company. Now, that's how we get people to join us, because we've gotten results. However, the process of getting them to join us is really what makes this company, in my opinion, different than others. I don't have a lot of experience in a lot of other companies, or any other company, because I did a lot of research before I started Shakeology, because as a healthcare provider, I wanted to make sure what I was doing was safe and wasn't like, gimmicky, I guess, lifestyle. That's what I'm about. But these products play a huge role. And so as part of the 3 vital behaviors, the first thing that's going to keep your business alive, that's going to help you start your business, that's going to really mold and keep you going forward, is inviting. So when you're having success, when you're having great results, when you're enjoying, when you're anything like having more energy, of course, losing a few pounds, connecting with team members like this, like whatever it may be, it is crucial that we share our journey and we share with others what we're doing. That is how you're going to start that relationship, that conversation of, hey, like, I saw that you like to run, and this is what, and I love it too. And these are some things that I've been able to complement my running with. Would you even want to hear about it? Just a little scenario of how you could approach someone with this. It's not about, hey, I have the fix here. Come, let me tell you about Shakeology. No, it's about being interested in the person, interested in what they're doing, trying to figure out what could help them, and then you lead into conversation. So the inviting process is probably one of the hardest, I would say, and I feel like most everybody could probably give me a thumbs up on inviting and it being the hardest. Mainly because it just takes time. And I think so many people in this business don't last because they're not willing to wait it out. But if you think about it, the things that matter the most in life and that are the hardest and that are going to get you places are the things that you have to invest the most time in. What about your weight loss journey? Like, that's a big, huge number 1 on the list. Most people don't finish a journey because, or I say finish, we're never going to be finished, but most people don't complete programs. They quit after 2 weeks, like whatever it may be. It's because they can't just dig into that journey and enjoy the journey. They want a quick fix. And so the inviting process and getting people on board is the same thing. It just takes time. There's lots of ways for inviting, and I'll talk about that here in just a little bit, but that's the biggest thing that will help propel a business forward. It's not throwing stuff on Facebook, pictures of programs and pictures of like specific stuff, in hopes that people are going to like, oh, I like that. Let me get more information, because that's not how this business works. It's sharing what you're doing in hopes to meet a need and start conversation. The second thing is, I'm going to put some people on the spot. What's the number 2 vital behavior, Ashley?
Personal development. How about that one?
Yay, that's an awesome one. So personal development. Okay, so I'm educated. I have a master's degree, and I never did personal development before with my education ever. And I don't know if you guys did that before, but I was never introduced to it, never heard of it, never understood it. And if I can be honest, for the first several years of being a coach, did not believe in the power of personal development. I will be the first to admit it. Why? Because I'm not a reader. My mind, I would consider it to be ADD. I'm all over the place. When I try to sit down and read, I just can't. I have a difficult time. However, what personal development is, it is an effort to develop yourself, your heart, and your mind personally. So it's taking that little extra time out of the day, 10, 15, 20, 30 minutes, whatever you've got, to truly personally develop yourself. This can be done in many, many forms. I know for our group right now, we have one of our cup groups. So Beachbody will have these little like push group things that they do every couple of months to really help us propel our business and like say, okay, gals, we're going to dig in for this 4 weeks and we're going to go as hard as we can. And so we're actually in one of those cups right now. And we decided to read 2 books, one of which is a devotion. And so it's a daily devotion where we're reading, because that's going to help your mind and your heart, right? And it's really crucial and important for me to start my day out right. But in addition to that, we all need to be reading something that is business oriented or power, like personal power oriented. And what I mean by that is the other book that we're reading is what is the greatness? It's greatness. It's Lewis Howes.
The School of Greatness.
School. I'm like, it's not the power of greatness, it's the school. So I actually have that on Audible, and I listen to it on the way to work and on the way home to work. And so it's the School of Greatness. So what it is it is giving you these stories, and it's giving you examples, and it's giving you reasons why you can't use excuses to keep you from meeting your goal. Like, why do you want to do this? So if the reason that you want to do this is to quit working, if it's to pay off debt, if it's to pay for college for your kids, if it's to make that extra income so that you can vacation, whatever the reason is, these personal development books are going to groom your mind so that you don't give up. And I will say that over the course of the time for me being a coach, when I'm not in personal development and my coaches aren't in personal development, business doesn't happen. Why? Because we stop believing in ourselves. We start thinking and believing the lies that usually Satan tells us, and we just don't believe. And so we don't move forward because we haven't had that good foundation of positive mind speaking. So that is probably one of the most crucial things about being a coach. And I would say it's probably one of the most different as far as our business, because it is a priority. And most of the top coaches in our company would say, if you don't do personal development, you will not be successful in this business. And so it's that important. We've got lots of stuff up our sleeves, things to tell you and share with you and encourage you to do. But that is definitely the second most crucial thing in the business. So inviting was your number 1, and then personal development. And then number 3, what is that one, guys? Anybody want to chime in?
Be a product of the product.
Absolutely, product of the product. So obviously, if you are trying to get people to join you to do the products, then you got to be a product of the product. So all of the coaches are going to be on Shakeology. You're going to be drinking it every single day. Why? Because it's amazing. It is not a weight loss supplement. It is not a little quick fix gimmick. It is crazy, crazy packed full of nutrition. And I'm here to tell you, as a nurse practitioner, I did my research. My husband still does research on some of this stuff. Like, we just had a performance line app come out, and he was like, let me take a look at all this stuff. Even though it's all researched and there are scientists behind all of it, we're still skeptical. Why? Because this is something I'm drinking every single day. But I will tell you, I've been drinking it for almost 6 years now. I started drinking it before my children. I drank it while I was pregnant with both kids, while I was breastfeeding, still drinking it today. It's nothing new for me. And so I would not be trying to get someone to do this if I had not experienced it myself. It has stopped my cravings for all the junk. And I'll tell you, when I've been eating junk and I jump back on my Shakeology, I don't crave sweets. And that is like my biggest downfall. That's one of the things like I cannot say no to. But if I'm drinking it consistently, it truly takes that craving away, which is, for me, huge. It's how I got to my goals, basically. And so that with Shakeology, so we're all drinking it every month. And our goal is obviously for you guys to pay for that as a new coach so that you don't have to worry. So you're drinking it, but you're onboarding people to join you, so then you don't have to worry about paying for your Shakeology. Then the next thing is programs. So I have always been one who I have all of them. I think I literally have done every single program and I have them all, love them all, some more than others. But it's really important, specifically as a new coach, to commit to a program fully up front, especially. And I'm pretty good about this myself because I will join team members. Right now, I'm actually doing a test group for Hammer and Chisel. So I committed fully to Hammer and Chisel. We have one more week left of an 8-week program. So I've been going hardcore with that, following the nutrition guide, everything. It's been amazing. I love, love, love that program. But I've done a lot. I mean, anytime a new one comes out, get your hands on it and commit to it. That's what being a coach is all about. It's about using the products, fully committing, saying, this is what I do, and this is why I do it, and this is why I'm a better person because I'm doing this. So it's really crucial to truly be a product of the product. And I don't say be a product of the product because we're selling the product. It's not about that. It's about us becoming better people. We're better people because we care about our health. We care about what we're putting in our body. We care about being fit and being an example to other people, because you guys know me, and our bodies are temples. They are given to us as gifts by God, and we are supposed to be that vessel to others. And so it's huge to take ownership and take your health seriously. And so I definitely take pride in that as a coach, and I want my kids to see me as an example. And for other people, anybody that I come in contact with, I want to be that example for them. So to me, that's what being a product of the product is about. So recap those three. It's inviting, personal development, and product of the product. Okay. Wow. We're going to get long-winded, aren't we? Or I will. Sorry. I got to stay on track. Okay. So Amber, do you want to talk about the next high point, which would be, let's see here. You may have your stuff pulled up, Amber. I think it's, where do we get customers?
Oh, I like this one. Yes. So customers, sorry. I think there's a coyote howling in the background. So customers, or whenever I first started, I didn't know who to ask. So what I tell my coaches now is to make a list of everybody that you can think of. And usually I started with my friends, like my close niche friends, and my family members. And that's usually the people that are going to support you the most. And so you're going to start off with a bang just by helping your family and your close friends making those healthy steps forward. And so I wrote a list, and I put them in columns. Like, I moved to St. Kitts, all the people I knew at St. Kitts. I moved to Florida, everybody I can remember, and I'm bad with remembering names, but everybody I can remember in Florida. We moved to North Carolina, everybody I worked with there, and they just put it down, everybody that I could think of. And that's what we call your warm market. And pretty soon you're going to exhaust that, right? There's only so many people that you are friends with. It's just the way of life. So what I tell my coaches is to find 5 things that you truly enjoy. And that could be, for me, that's ER medicine. Obviously, it's being surrounded with other twin moms because I have twins. We live a Paleolithic lifestyle. That sounds kind of cheesy, but gluten-free and dairy-free, and that's how we cook. And so I log into groups on Facebook and Instagram, Pinterest groups that are just tailored to those. I do ultra marathons, trail running, and I can't remember the last one. Sorry. So I have like 5 hobbies or things that are really important to me, and they make me who I am. They're like a big chunk of who I am. So I try to find groups that are tailored to those people, because at the end of the day, I want to be surrounded by people that are passionate and or uplifting, positive people like Chanel here, and people that I have things in common with. Because the people that you get to join alongside you, they're going to be alongside you for the rest, however long you're going to be on this health and wellness journey. They're going to be the ones cheering you on. They're going to be the ones at 8 o'clock on Sunday night that you're seeing their face while they're meal prepping. You know, they're the ones that you're going to be talking with and sharing your successes and your struggles. And so I want to be surrounded by people that I have things in common with and that I can build a relationship with. And so that's typically how I started, was thinking of my close friends and family, thinking of all the people that I met along my journey up until this point. And then once I ran out of people I could remember, I thought of the hobbies that I enjoy and things that make, a good chunk of my personality. Not all of it, because I'm kind of crazy, but a good chunk of my personality. And I branched into there. So I'm part of a lot of fit mom groups, twin mom groups, ultra running, gardening, because I like to garden. And just, that's how I found my people. The other thing that I've learned is whenever I wear my Pio sweatshirt or my Beach by t-shirt, things that I've won along the way, or earned, I should say, people will question and they'll ask me, what is Pio? Is that Plyo? They don't understand. And so I could be sitting in the grocery store and strike up a conversation with someone. And I'm like, hey, this is my website. Just go here. Or how about you give me your name? I'll search you on Facebook, because it seems like everybody and their grandma has Facebook nowadays. And so I just, I tell them I'll reach out to them and we'll stay connected. And so that's how I do it. I wear the products, the shirts, I advertise that way. I guess it's the right way to say it. And then I go into groups that are my niches, because the riches are in the niches. And the people that you make with in those groups, the ones that you share hobbies with, you're going to be able to form better, stronger bonds than just Joe Blow. I wouldn't be able to help a trucker who is a vegan and likes to do water polo. I have nothing in common with that man. I doubt he really exists, but I would not have anything to say to him, because I'm not a good swimmer. I don't know anything about trucking, and I'm paleo. I eat meat. So you need to form bonds and connections with people that you have hobbies with. That way you can share a passion. So, sorry, Chanel, I get off topic.
No, that was perfect. So yeah, there are so many different ways to find customers. I think that's always one of the hardest things for people, is they're like, well, who do I ask? I will say that when you're on your journey, when you join, you're going to jump right into a group, a 30-day group where you're going to push play, you're going to be on your journey. And then your coach is going to start encouraging you to share it. And so up front, it's not going to be that difficult to just start sharing with people who ask you questions, or if you have a conversation and you say, okay, I'm looking for 5 people that want to join me in doing this. So that process just takes practice. And the really awesome thing that we've done as our team is that we have a system in place where every week throughout the month what you're asking people to join you for. So it's not like when I first started, it was like this random craziness where I didn't know what I was supposed to be inviting to, or I was inviting to stuff and then it was just not, there was nothing formal about it. And what we have done is adopted basically a schedule. So we help you. And so that way your inviting is a little more focused. So say you have a person who says, okay, Ebony, I have seen what you're doing. I really want to join you. You just tell me what I got to do. So they get on board, and then 2 weeks into your little group, they're killing it. They're commenting on everybody's post. They're totally being a coach, and you see this like thing in them that they have no idea that you see. And so you say to them, okay, please don't think I'm crazy, but you are a coach. You're doing everything that I'm doing. You're amazing. You can help so many people. Will you join me as a coach? So like that's just an example of kind of how this works. It's not there's not a lot of randomness in it. It's people that truly have a need that you want to meet and you want to help them get there. And there's lots of ways, like Amber mentioned, Instagram, Facebook. Obviously, everybody has Facebook. There's even like pages on Facebook, which is where Sarah found my ad. So I created an ad that I was advertising for what I was doing on that crazy Facebook. And you know, I'm still learning about the stuff that you can do on Facebook, and I have absolutely not come near mastering it or even near close to the potential that I know that I could be. But that's just part of the business and taking ownership and learning. And that's just one way to find customers. The grocery store, old teammates, Sarah, for you, like that's customer base. It's just people that you're already friends with that you can say, hey, you want to join me? Like maybe, and it's not even one of those things that even needs to be weird. It's like, this is what I'm doing. I want some friends to do it with me. And that's kind of how we roll. We don't cold call people or anything like that. Yes, Amber, I think you were.
Yeah, so I think the best way whenever you're starting as a coach and it's like a month or two down the road, the best way that you get people attracted to you and asking you for help, which is what you want people to help, you know, you want to spread the love and help them live a healthier lifestyle. And the best way to do that is simply sharing your journey, which was a huge struggle for me because, you know, I'm an ER critical care doctor and I had to share my health and wellness. And to me, that was a little bit odd at the beginning. But then once I realized that by simply sharing my story, even if it was I lost 5 pounds in a month or that I was finally able to do a pull-up, now it's 3. Everybody give praise.
Yay!
Yes. So like just sharing those little snippets or like, hey, you know, I took my kids for a run today, or this is what we're eating. My kids are eating what, you know, these healthy meals. Just by sharing even those non-scale victories, people are noticing and they are coming to you and they're like, oh, I wish my son would eat what your kids eat. What are you doing? And just sharing those things. And sometimes it's just helping them with their nutrition. Sometimes it's helping them with their fitness. But everybody has a journey. Everybody has a struggle. And what you're posting out there, what you're sharing about your current situation is going to speak to those people and they're going to come and find you. So that's just one way that I find I get most of my people that I help, most of my jump starters, I call them. So it's by sharing my story and my journey. And then as you go along, you also get to share their stories. And once you share, hey, Kayla lost 30 pounds with me. We've been working together for 4 months. That just like a ripple effect. Everybody gives her shouts out and congratulates her and gives her encouragement and positive words, which you want. You want her to be celebrated because she worked hard. It's hard to lose 30 pounds. I'm still struggling with my 10. So it's hard, you know, for them to get on this journey. But once you share her success, everybody praises her, but they'll remember that you're the one that helped her. And she'll tell them that you helped her. And it's just word of mouth that keeps people coming back to me to help. It's because I stepped out of my comfort zone, shared my story. Other people were interested, and now I'm sharing their story. And that's usually how I get people to help. It's like a ripple effect. So I just wanted to do that.
No, I think that's huge, and definitely don't want to make light of the difficulty that it can be sometimes to just get people and and stuff. But as long as you're willing to share what you're doing, there's always going to be people, in my opinion, that God has waiting for you. Because I think that a lot of times we doing something like this wellness coach thing, this online crazy thing that we're doing, there is specific things and specific people there that need your help. It's somebody that I can't help, and only you can help. And so I think that's what's beautiful about the business and about the customers, is that there's millions of people that need help, number one. But number two, this is your business, and you are you, and God made you special so that you can help those special people that He has out for you to help. It's yet likely not anyone that I can help. Only you can do that. And so I think that's also just a great perspective to have. Of when you feel like there's nobody else or you just don't know where to go, that there are people. We may just not be looking for the right ones. So, all right. So that was a good one. Where do we find those people? So the next one is about big topic that everybody always asks about usually, and it's a pretty important one. It's about business growth and income opportunity. So basically, there are 3 different types of coaches. Most of all of us would agree on this one, for business growth. So like, what are you in this for? What do you really want to do? The first one is kind of what everybody calls a hobby coach, discount coach. They're a coach. They're a coach like everybody else. You sign up. You want your discount on your Shakeology. You really don't want to earn any income. And so you're part of a team. You are still part of the same team that everybody else is a part of. You join in on the challenge. You are likely going to be given a welcome email. You're likely going to be given every opportunity that everybody else has. But that's just a personal decision that you have made to just receive the discount on your Shakeology and not move forward with the business opportunity. Many people do this, and it's perfect. It's whatever you want to do. That's the beauty of this business opportunity, is that you have the choice. You do not have to grow a business. You can just get a discount, and you can quit your job. Like, it's from that extreme. So then there's the middle one, where you're basically you're a business builder, and you want to make some extra income, but you don't want to quit your full-time job. You really enjoy what you do. You just want to supplement it. You just want to learn kind of what you need to do, but you don't want this, to add any stress or anything to your life. You just want to share in hopes that you will create just enough income to pay for your Shakeology and maybe a few extra things. Well, this type of coach definitely needs to learn the business. You really need to learn how you're going to get customers, like we talked about, how much money you could potentially make with your customers, and what your base of your goals need to be every month. From there, if you decide, okay, well, I know that I need to help 3 people a month to meet what we call Success Club. And your Success Club, it's kind of like a business quota. And I don't even know if you guys, how you look at it, but in my mind, I kind of look at Success Club as my quota, a non-negotiable, what I need to meet every month. But basically, it doesn't have anything to do with like a quota number, like a car salesman. It has everything to do with the fact that God told me to do this business, and I need to help 3 people this month because that's what I chose to do, and He's going to help me do that. So it's about helping 3 lives every month, and that's what your quota is. So we're not talking about selling cars. We're not talking about retail here. We're talking about 3 lives, like 3 people that you could potentially change the course of their life right now. And so that's where the business part starts coming in. Obviously, the more people that you help every month, you're going to get a percentage of the products that you sell. So that's one part of how you generate income. Well, for a lot of multi-level marketing companies out there, that's where a lot of their income, and that's what they push, and that's why you see all these little clips of these little wraps and these little pink drinks, because they heavily weight their business on how much product they can sell. Well, for us, I will tell you, and I've told everybody on my team and on the Cup team, most of the income that I have seen personally as a coach is not at all from sales. It's from helping you as coaches be better coaches and help more people. So it's a people business. It's about you meeting your goals and you as a coach meeting, helping your 3 people every month. That's what helps me, and that's what's going to help you grow in the business. So it's not about me sitting and hovering over you saying, did you get your 3 points? No, it's about like, let's get on a call and let's dig deep and figure out what we can do to help you find those 3 people. That's kind of where the cream and the crop of the business comes in, is when you're really ready to invest in other people and their businesses. So you have the whole product side and you have the whole coaching side. So there's 2 different avenues that will generate income, but the whole relationship coaching will by far exceed the retail side, hands down, for forever. And it's kind of a little hard to receive that information. I know it was for me in the beginning. I did not understand that, but I can tell you that your product, selling product is not the number one thing that's going to help you move forward in this business. So if that's a fear of selling, that's not, you can let that down basically. So you have your hobby, you have your, okay, let me get a little income to start paying off my debt. And then you have I want to quit my job in 5 years. What do I got to do that? And so when you make that type of commitment, for myself and for Amber and for the rest of the coaches here, that is a one-on-one, let me show you exactly what you have to do. We have trainings for that. We have obviously calls like this. There's lots of opportunity to learn what you need to do to meet that goal. And so that is absolutely a potential. That's exactly what Amber and I are working towards as we speak, like it's going to happen. And so we are here to hold your hand and help you get to your goals. That's exactly what I'm here for. And there's lots of opportunities. So basically, I think I hit on most of that. This is probably one of the topics that everybody always has these little like, well, what about this or what about this? So I will open it up if you have any questions like across the board. Some of our coaches that are on may even have questions that some people have asked them before. And if there's anything that you guys can add as far as clarity on business growth and income opportunity, this is the time to share it. Anybody have anything to add?
I do.
Yes.
I think the biggest thing that I've come across is there's a lot of people out there that think this is a gimmick, that it's a get-rich-quick scheme or a pyramid scheme. So trying to kind of debunk those or get people more, I guess, more educated about what it is and what it isn't, because it's definitely not a get-rich-quick scheme. You have to want it and work for it. It's not going to be handed to you. If you're in it for 2 years, all of a sudden you're going to be a millionaire. It doesn't work like that. And then the pyramid scheme thing. Apparently they're illegal. I didn't even know what they were, but I just remember growing up and my mom would talk about pyramid schemes, and that was her biggest thing. I did one other MLM before I got into Beachbody, and that was my mom's biggest concern. So I had to teach my mom a lesson in that. So I think that's a big one that I've heard about, as far as, you know, people kind of just giving you that look like, what are you trying to reel me into? You know, what's the catch or something like that.
No, I think those are perfect. Those are really, really good, because I definitely have heard the whole pyramid scheme before. And I will, just the way that I view this into like shutting that down, is the simple fact that if I am sign up under a coach, and that coach decides that she's not going to educate me and not going to help me grow my business, that doesn't mean that I cannot grow mine and fully exceed her business. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So that's exactly that's how it's not a pyramid scheme, because it's an individual business that absolutely you are affecting the people underneath you, and the people underneath you are affecting you. However, you do your own thing, and it's on you. And if you decide, okay, I'm kicking into high gear one month. So one of my coaches, say Ashley, is like, all right, Chanel, I'm about to do this. I'm about to do this as best as I can. And then all of a sudden I look up and she's like 2-star diamond, 5-star diamond. I'm like, oh, what happened? Like, so she could easily surpass me. I can easily surpass the coach that I signed up under, because it's your own business. So once you hit certain milestones, it doesn't matter what your other person, so you will support them to a certain degree and a certain level, just because that is the nature of you signed up under them. That was a choice that you made. So you will be supporting them. But there's absolutely the point at which you can decide that you're going to grow your business beyond your wildest dreams, and then it has nothing to do with that person that you signed up under. So maybe that kind of helps if someone were to ask you. That's a prime example that I usually say, because sometimes I can get a little crazy, and my coach I didn't have a lot of help to do this. Absolutely no help, actually. And so love her to death, like as a person and everything, but I didn't have help. And so that's the truth. And so I would always say, well, it's no big deal, because I'm going to pass her up. So it's like, whatever. And I don't really mean that to be hateful or anything, but what I mean that in is that at some point I'm going to bust my tail, which I have been doing. And my little, whatever they want to call me, star this diamond, like, is probably going to be more than hers, because I'm willing to put in the work where she's not. So I don't know. That's a great, I thank you, Katie, for bringing that up, because I do think that the pyramid, I have heard that before. And of course, when you look in our back office, it does kind of look like a little pyramid thing going on back there, but it's individual businesses. It really and truly is. And it's all on us to grow it or not grow it.
Yeah. And I think that's the biggest takeaway, is that it is a business, and it is your business. And if you want to run and help as many people as you can and really share your journey and really make an impact, you can. There are people who go from, making $0 to $25 a week, doing it to making 6 figures in, a year to 2 years. I mean, the person who was on the wake up call, Bonnie Engel, she probably makes 6 figures, and she's been doing it for 2 years. So it is what you put into it. So the time that you invest in sharing your story, being proof of the product, helping others reach their goals, putting that time into personal development, even if it's like brushing your teeth while listening to an audiobook or a podcast, whatever it is, the more that you invest in it whenever you can, and it doesn't have to be like 8 to 5. I do mine 3 hours in the morning, because that's the life I have, and that's where it fits in. However much you invest and you put into it, that's going to be what you make of it. And I think that's the thing. If you are like, hey, I want to make $500 a week with this because that'll help pay off my student loans, well, you can't just put 10 minutes into it, or you can't just show up every other day. And that's something that I had to learn, because when I started, I was doing really well. And then I got a little bit lazy, and I had to learn that I needed to continue it, and I had to be consistent. And consistent doesn't mean I bust my tail 6 to 8 hours a day. Consistent to me means that I get my workout in every day. I drink my shake every day. I read my personal development, and I do work, and I'm using air quotes, 2 hours a day. To me, that's me being consistent, and my paycheck shows that. And it's just me showing up every day, helping other people with their goals. And I think as you start, you just need to know that whatever you put into it is what you're going to get. And some people, they just want to help others and they don't care about the finances. That's great. That's where I started. But now that I'm making that shift into, I want to make this, I want to live my own, design my own life. I don't want to do my 24-hour shifts anymore. Technically, they're like 18, but I don't want to do them anymore. I want to be home with my kids. I want to take my husband from the medical field and bring him home because he's on call every other night, every weekend right now until they find him a partner at his hospital. So he's on call all the time, and he's missing a lot of, special moments now, and I want to bring him home. So to me, knowing my goal, I have to work for that goal. And that means I need to work as if I already have that goal, if that makes sense. And I could blow past my coach. Katie is one of my coaches. She can blow past me, and I hope she does, because that means that I'm helping her be a good leader.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, whatever you put into it is what you get out of it.
Yep. That's exactly it. So yeah, that was a really good one. So I think the very last thing basically for this is just to kind of give a rundown of what you do to get started, like how you get started. You would pick a challenge pack. That's the best way to get started in all of this, because you've got to be on your own journey, right? That's what we've talked about this whole time of, like, you've got to be working on yourself physically, mentally. Everything has to be in check. And so the best way to do that is to get plugged in a group with a challenge pack so that you're drinking Shakeology, that you're committed to a program, and then just start sharing what you're doing. Simply start sharing. Definitely does not need to be any crazy inviting, crazy doing anything. It's just daily saying, usually I would not have gotten up at this time, but I'm so excited because I have a group of people. We all log in every day. We share what we're doing, and it's given me this motivation that I've never had. Like, that's it. You don't even have to put a picture by that one. You could just say that on your social media site or to your coworker or whatever it may be, just to start sharing. And then you'll get more comfortable and more comfortable and more comfortable. And I can guarantee you, when we talked about inviting and sharing, when you're consistently sharing on social media, people notice and people see. When it's your lifestyle, they notice and they see. When it's a hobby, they also know that it's a hobby versus a lifestyle and a career. They also know when you don't show up. So when you don't show up, they think that you've just joined a fad and you've quit it. And so that's why it's so important to get a program, drink your Shakeology every day, and start sharing. Because if you don't do those things, people don't believe you. They don't see that it's truly what you're doing for a living. And you're probably not going to build a lot of trust with people. So that's your first step. Now, from here, what you do after you sign up as a coach, you're going to jump into a crash course. So there's lots of things out there as far as getting some detail of a few more, basically it's a few more details of what you do as a coach. So what we've done is we've created a 5-day crash course. Most everybody is working professionals who join our teams, and so they don't have a lot of time. We don't have a lot of time. And so we created this 5-day course that is basically the nitty-gritty of things that you need to know. You need to know you have a back office, that when you sign up as a coach, you're going to pay a very, very small fee that's going to include everything that you need to run a business. There are many people who don't even have websites, who don't have blogs, who don't have anything. They just use the back office that Beachbody has given us. And so you need to know where that's at. You need to know where to change your EFT to get your check direct deposited versus and being mailed to you. So like these little things. And then we go into a few of the social media things. We go into a few things that you just need to start doing, your personal development. What book are you going to be reading? That kind of thing. And then you start working one-on-one with your coach. And at that point, we start teaching you how to invite to our groups. And so we usually will do this little sneak peek into coaching the third week of every month, because the last week of the month is a crash course. During the crash course, we start grooming you as a new coach in how to invite to a clean eating group, which is the first week of the month. So there's a system to all of this. That way it's not confusing, and that way you know what you're doing every month. And it also makes it easy to know what to post to and what to invite to. And so if you joined today, then you would enroll in the crash course. Basically, it's kind of self-paced because it's your business. I am here to push, and I know my girls that are on this call, they know that I'm here to push, and I am here to encourage, and I'm here to get you out of your comfort zone. Why? Because I see potential. And when I see potential, oh, Lord help us, I want you to meet that potential, because you probably don't believe in yourself like I believe in you. And so I am going to encourage you. If you tell me that you want to quit your job, or if you tell me you need to make this amount of money a month so that you don't have to do extra shifts, whatever it is you tell me that you want to do, I'm going to say, okay, this is what you got to do to make that happen. And then we're just going to dig in together as friends and as team members to help you meet that goal. It's not me breathing down your neck. It's not me sending you messages. Did you invite 5 people today? No. Like, if you tell me to do that, absolutely, I would do that for you. But that's not what it's about. It's about me just being there for you, being your cheerleader, being the person that you need to help you meet your goals. And then we go from teaching you how to invite to the clean eating group to then you may have 5 people. And now you're like, oh my God, what do I do with these 5 people? They said they want to do the clean eating group with me. Because that's exactly what happens every month when I get a new coach. They're like, I don't know what to do now. So then that's what we do. We teach you what to do. We say, okay, this is the template. This is what we use in our groups. This is what you're going to do in the group. So there's no like throwing you to the wolves and saying, here's a starter packet, just call me if you need me. That's not how we roll at all. That's kind of how I got introduced, and I've made lots of mistakes. And the beauty of all this is that I get to show you how not to make those mistakes. And that's how Amber, like, we're here to teach you the things that we learned the wrong way. But we still make mistakes. So I'm always the first to admit that I'm always making mistakes, and I'm always failing at things, and that's how we move forward. And so that's kind of how this goes. Like, it's you jump on board with the challenge. You focus on you first, and then through that we start teaching you how to invite and ask other people to join you, and then we show you how to run groups. Generally, you will run 1 or 2 groups with the coach that signed you, so that way you can duplicate the process. So once I teach you how to do it, then guess what? You can be like, okay, I have a coach now, and so then I can confidently say, do you remember what I did? Let's do that with your new coach. And so it's just a big rolling system that that we have in place, and ideally that it will go as smoothly as that. But okay, so I think that's it. Like, guys, is there anything? First, I want to ask Sarah. I don't want to put you on the spot, but I just want to make sure that you don't have any questions. We went through a ton. We're hitting a little over an hour mark, and so I know everybody's getting tired. So I just want to make sure you don't have any questions for us before everybody kind of gets weary.
No, I can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I feel better about it after this conversation because you pretty much answered my questions and kind of chilled out my fears a little bit about this, because I'm like Katie. I've done, things in the past where it was more like the pyramid scheme type deal, and it just wasn't my, I'm not a salesperson, so I'm a people person. So this definitely made me feel a lot better. I can't think of any other questions right now, though.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's awesome. That makes me feel good. So maybe we hit on all the, and the funny thing is about this business is that on all the calls, when you join, you're going to see in your back office where we have our wake up call every single Monday morning. Someone who's been successful in the business, they sit down and they share like things that have worked for them. And almost every single call, they all go back to the basics. And so to say that we could explain how this business works in an hour call, really you can, because it's not that complicated. It's just doing it with consistency. And so I hope that we were able to, give you at least a good idea to feel like, okay, so that makes sense, and that makes sense, and that makes sense too. So let's put it together, and I think that you will find that it was really, So Deidre says, Sarah, I'm not a salesperson either. I'm a people person. Yes. And that's so, can 100% guarantee you that that is exactly how all of us are. We definitely love people, as you can tell, as long-winded and talkers that we are. So that's awesome. I love that. And I think that for me, that's our heart. And so just to know up front that you're like, no, I don't want to sell. I think that there is going to be times where you're like, oh, I really want to meet that goal. So in the back of your mind, you're like, I need to sell 3 challenge packs. That's just part of what we do as far as meeting goals. But should that be your primary thing? Absolutely not. And I don't think that any of us lead with that. So that's awesome. Does anybody else have anything that they want to add on or anything before we close? Okay, I think we're good. And I'm getting like a little congested. I feel like we should probably stop soon before I start sounding like some weird something over here. Like, what's going on? Amber, did you have something you want to say?
Oh, no, I think you hit all the high points. But the only thing that we didn't touch on was that with Beachbody, there are a lot of opportunities, especially to meet people every so often, like get reconnected. There's a lot of PowerPoints and training available to you. So if you want to dive deeper and get into harder things, there's like trainings for whatever you need. So you're not just thrown into the wolves. And your coach or whoever sponsors you is always there to help you. But there are get-togethers, I guess, where there are events every 3 months where people will do workouts together and they share their tips and their advice. And it's just like this big community, which I really love. I love being surrounded by positive, energetic people who genuinely just want to help others. And that's what it is. And they have big events down in Dallas in the fall, which is kind of like in Beachbody, there's a lot of teams or I call them fit families. And so, or big fit family. It's huge. It's like the biggest in Beachbody world. And there's just a conference for just that family. And so you see all different coaches, all different walks of life, everybody on different aspects of their health journey, people, pregnant people with toddlers there, husbands, everybody that you can imagine is there. Probably even a vegan truck driver who likes to do water polo is there. So there's so many people, and you just have like this camaraderie, and then we have the summit, which is like the main event where you do live workouts again. We're big into workouts. So you do live workouts, you hear all these people's success stories, you listen to special speakers that just resonate in you like the whole year. And it's not just helping others, you're also helping yourself. And you're helping yourself, yes, with fitness. And